Now, I went to a late showing for this movie, and there was no one in my auditorium tonight, which for most people, for a horror movie, that just means scary time. For a horror fan like me, I'm just like, yes, give it to me, be creepy. And I walked out of this theater, and there's a forest around my movie theater. I can't lie. There's a few frames in this movie that made me look at those trees and be like, is there somebody out there? Never Let Go stars Halle Berry and is about a family that has been haunted by an evil spirit for years. Their safety and their surroundings come into question when one of the children questions if the evil is real. From director Alexandre Aja, sorry if I said your name wrong, the man who brought you Piranha and Crawl, which is really underrated, comes Never Let Go. So I saw the trailer for this movie a few times these past few months, and from the trailer, it looked interesting. It looked like a pretty basic horror movie. It kind of looked like it was trying to take like an idea of like a Quiet Place type thing where it's like you gotta be quiet, but for this movie you gotta be tied to this house and you cannot let go of this rope or you're gonna die. Basically, this evil is in this forest is going to get you. And so it's Halle Berry and her two kids stuck in this house. And so when one of the kids actually is like, is there evil out there? Do we really need to hang on to this rope? What is my mom even thinking? Things start to happen, and there is a lot of questions in this movie that don't always get answered, but I walk away with one thing. This is a solid movie. This is a solid little horror movie that, again, there was no one in my theater tonight, so I don't know how it's going to do this weekend, but this is a solid recommendation from me. Starting with the positives is Halle Berry. She's fantastic. Listen, there's a reason she has an Oscar. I loved her in this movie. She is freaking great, honestly. Like, she plays the part perfectly because there is something in this woods. There's something going on, but she presents it in a way to where the mom might be crazy. Like, there is a chance this kid who is questioning everything and his brother might be like, you know what? Stuff is not right out here. But it might be our own mom. And Halle Berry plays it perfectly. These two kids were really good as well. And I don't want to spoil anything, but the other figures and people that you do see in this movie, everyone in this movie is very good, but from the trailer, it is just our main three, and for the movie itself, it is just them three. So I will say, right off the bat, just being a like claustrophobic thriller, it kept me intrigued. From beginning to end, I never was not bored. I was always intrigued into the story and the character motivations, which is really strong in a movie where it's like, it's trying to pull this runtime, but you have three main characters and you got to keep it interesting in this cabin. And I think the movie did a really good job. The sound design, the sound mixing, really good. And that where comes to the question, is the movie scary? Me personally, I'm not going to say this movie's like scary, but there is a few images and there is a one good jump scare that is honestly worthy, if in my opinion, because the movie just, it's so eerie, and the woods, the darkness scenes, like at nighttime, the crackling, whatever. It brings an atmosphere of creepy and thrilling. But again, the story kept me intrigued in these characters, leading to an ending where I will say I didn't hate the ending because it didn't answer certain questions that didn't bother me, but there were so many questions that I'm just like, I feel like you should have answered like two questions. There's a couple where I'm like, you didn't need to answer that. Like, honestly, the ambiguity is like truly good in this movie, but there's a few things in the movie where like, you probably could have maybe explained that just a little bit, but the ending could make or break for you. And again, there was no one in my theater, so I couldn't like feel a reaction or see one walking out. So if my reaction was, the ending was fine. I don't think it's like the best ending, but overall the movie is just really well made. Like, honestly, the acting, the motivations, the cinematography, like I said, the sound design. And this director, he directed obviously Piranha, but he also did Crawl. And so in that movie, that tension he has, it's brought over to this movie. There's a few scenes that just, there's good tension. And again, I walked away saying it was better than I expected, but it wasn't something I'm like, you gotta go see it. It's not like The Next Quiet Place or anything. But for a solid Halle Berry horror movie, I recommend it. I'm gonna give Never Let Go a B. A really cool concept that definitely stretches at runtime, but for the most part, like I said, I had a good time with it. Seriously, if there's few scenes that can get me like a little creeped out, honestly, you've done a really good job because I've seen a lot of horror movies in my life. So, you guys enjoy this movie review, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, everybody.